I haven't talked about forgiveness in a very long time, but I feel like it's time to bring it up again because it just seems that people are so unwilling to forgive and they don't understand what forgiveness really is. Because forgiveness is not saying that what the other person did or said was right or okay. It's about you not wanting to keep punishing yourself day after day after day, holding on to those bitter, resentful emotions of anger and hate that person made you feel. And for some strange reason, people think that's what they are supposed to do. They're going, well, they don't deserve my forgiveness. It has nothing to do with what they deserve and everything to do with what you deserve and what you don't deserve, which is to keep feeling this way. Because when you hold on to those emotions, they only hurt you. It's like that old saying, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to doesn't work that way. So once you realize forgiveness is for you, you got to start forgiving. But what is forgiving? I already told you what it's not. And more importantly, how? What do you do? Okay, so forgiving is basically saying, I don't want to let that other person rent space in my head anymore and make me feel like this. I don't deserve it. I deserve better. So guess what? I'm not going to allow them to get under my skin, and I'm going to just let all of this go because I deserve to be peaceful. And that's a great attitude to set up overall. But sometimes we have a lifetime worth of things we need to forgive with people, especially like close family members or long-term relationships that we've had, either romantic or friendships even. Sometimes there's just these relationships that we consider toxic. They're almost like addictive patterns that we just can't seem to break. And there's usually a lot of anger and bitterness and resentment there. So what I found with that is those people that you have a lot of stuff with, that's a process. So how I recommend people do that type of forgiveness work is you get a notebook. I always have a spiral notebook with the pages you can rip out. And you write a list of those people down on the very first page. Right on the front of the thing, right? Forgiveness, like on the cover. And on the first page, just write a list of people that that there's stuff. So when you think, they don't even have to be in your life anymore. They don't even have to be on this earthly plane anymore. You could still hold resentments against people that aren't here anymore. But you need to get rid of that. So what you do is you make a list of these people, right? So take a week to do that. Just, do some contemplation thing. Take a week to do that. And then pick one person on that list, okay? Do not pick your greatest nemesis as the first one. If you had big issues with an ex or, your mother or something like that, don't pick them first, please. Pick somebody, maybe a coworker that stabbed you in the back or betrayed you to the boss or something. Pick somebody that isn't, that you don't have a million things that has gone on between you. It's just easier to start that way. You'll work your way up to those people. So anyway, you got your person's name. Write their name on the top of a page and list the things that you're holding resentment against, that you're not willing to forgive, things that they did to you that you're like, I can't believe they did that to me. That was wrong. I didn't deserve that. Blah, 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 blah. Write down the specific things, right? And you can take your time doing this. This is not a race. This is a process, right? So basically you want to start from the list. So take at least a week, depending on who it is. Sometimes you need more time, because if you find every day there's one thing, oh yeah, and that, and that, and that, and that one's going to take a while. So anyway, you got your person, you wrote down, say you got 10 things. So what you do, you read the very first thing on the list. And then you consciously, out loud, say, I don't wish to hold on to this bitterness, resentment, anger, whatever the emotions are that are attached to that. Just say, I refuse to hold on to this anymore. I deserve better, and I'm letting it go. And you consciously, with intent, let it go. You go through every single incident on that list. And when you're done, you're going to rip that page out and you're going to destroy it. So I don't like to use the word ire with the F because I don't want to advocate people doing something that could be potentially dangerous, but that's typically what I would do. And as it's getting destroyed, the the paper, it's it. There, any emotional attachment to them is disappearing. So that's basically how I work forgiveness. It was taught to me by someone many years ago, who's not around anymore, and I think it was one of the most valuable pieces of information that I was ever given, because it made my life so much better. You don't even realize how much you're holding on to and how much it's affecting your life, So anyway, then when you get through your list, and actually as you're going through your list, you may find, you know what? I have some accountability that I got to deal with some of these things, because sometimes we didn't treat those people very nice, and you realize you're not justified. You're not justified for doing something to somebody who did something bad to you. No, that's not right either. So you're going to have to make a list of things for yourself, because as you go along this path, you're going to have to start forgiving yourself. So say you had a abusive ex, right? And you blame them for everything. But then you realize, you know what? I could have left, but I stayed for decades. So that's on you. So you have to forgive yourself for that. So I'm just using that as an example, because you are participating in every single interaction with other people, and you always have a choice. I mean, unless you're being held prisoner, but for the most part, you have a choice. You can set up boundaries. That's another thing that you're going to have to do after this. Set up boundaries. Because a lot of times our feelings are hurt, or we're taken advantage of, or betrayed because we don't have good, solid boundaries. So that's something else that we need to work on. So this is all part of what I do. I do the emotion code, body code, belief code to help you release those trapped emotions attached to the past experiences. But I do a lot more than that. I help people with the forgiveness work and the boundary work and, all that soul searching work that will help move you forward in life, help you to heal yourself. Because I don't like the term healer. I know, people, the healer. I empower you to make the necessary changes so that you can heal yourself, because the answers are always in here. Always, always, always. So I'm kind of like a healing facilitator. I think I like that term better. But if you want to learn more about what I do, send me a message. There's a link to all my socials in whatever platform you're watching this on. There's a link to my socials in my in my bio, or whatever you want to call it. But I would love to hear from you, and leave me some comments, and like the video and share the video. I would greatly appreciate that. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.